Welcome, welcome. Today we are doing EFT tapping on limitless abundance. Are you ready to experience more abundance, more prosperity, more wealth, more freedom in your life? Because a big part of this is your intention. Nothing happens without your intention and without making specific decisions and choices that transform your life. If you want your life to be transformed, then you have to set the intention and make very specific decisions and choices that back up that decision. And those decisions and choices need to be made every single day, actually, multiple times a day. So, because we're making thousands upon thousands of decisions on little things to big things every day. And some of those decisions, actually, the vast majority of those decisions are coming from the subconscious. We don't even realize that we're making decisions. That they could seem like the smallest thing. Decisions like what time to get out of bed in the morning and whether to hit the snooze button or whether to get out the moment the alarm goes off, what clothes to wear during the day. All of these things are decisions and choices, and some of them may seem insignificant, but they stack up. And this is why micro habits are incredibly important for you to develop the right micro habits to achieving the goal, the vision, the dream that you want in your life. So, one of those decisions is to tap. And this is not a micro decision. This is a major decision that when you decide to use EFT tapping every day or the vast majority of days, you will experience a transformation in your life that will blow your mind. Okay. So, and that's what this is all about. We tap, we do EFT tapping. Now, you can tap like me on these points on your face and your body, or if you don't want to do that, if your arms are tired or you're somewhere that is public, then you can do this is incredibly effective, just tapping on the meridian points that are beside the bed of the nail on the ends of your fingers. And you can do this anywhere, anytime, to help calm your central nervous system and release the limiting beliefs, the fears, the doubts that are standing in the way, slowing you down and stopping you from achieving whatever abundance you want in your life. So, as I said, your intention is imperative in this process. So, what is your intention for the next 30 minutes? What life-changing intention will you set that will put you on a whole new trajectory to money, wealth, abundance, prosperity, freedom, whatever it is your heart desires? Set your intention now. Okay. So the second thing we're going to do is establish some well accepted, do we call them facts or theories? Because a lot of what we talk about in relation to the law of attraction comes from quantum science and quantum theory. So we establish things like everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. Nikola Tesla was the genius in the early 1900s who made this statement, and every single scientific evidence that we have, particularly through quantum science, backs up this proclamation. And this means that if everything is energy, frequency, and vibration in the quantum field, and that it is your focus and your attention and your intention that causes energy, frequency, and vibration to organize in a very specific way. Okay. So think of it as in if everything on this planet and in this universe is energy, frequency, and vibration, and you are living in an illusion. Think of the Matrix. This is a holographic projection because there is nothing solid that exists. 99.9999999999999% of everything we experience is pure energy. It's densely organized, so it feels like something's real. But basically, you are living in a dream, man. You are living in this dream that feels real. So if you are living in a dream, and if this is all a holographic projection, and you are the creator, then what is it that you want to create next? You're creating this through your intention, your attention, and your focus. Okay? So you are projecting it from your subconscious mind. You are projecting your future experience. And today's experience is yesterday's news, because today's experience is the result of the beliefs, the thoughts, the focus, the intention that you and the attention that you had yesterday and the day before and the day before that and the day before that. If you wish to change your experience tomorrow, then you shift your focus, your attention, and your intention today. And then that changes the way those energy particles organize within the quantum field. This is how powerful you are. This is why you are so powerful. Because it is through what you are projecting onto basically into the hologram, that is what you get to experience. Okay. So whether you, now, this is important. The thing that you have most influence over, it's not control, it's influence, because you are influencing the energetic particles that are vibrating at a very specific frequency. You are influencing those. And the more you are aligned with the particles that you wish to influence, the more influence you have over them. So do you know about sound entrainment? So if you have a tuning fork, and if you have two tuning forks that are vibrating at the same frequency, well, they are tuned to the same frequency, and you start one tuning fork and you bring it close to the other tuning fork, the other tuning fork will start to vibrate in resonance with the first tuning fork. They don't have to touch, they just have to be close. Now, it's the same in your body. So if you think about, cancer, when cancer starts, it is the result of a misalignment in the body. And a certain clump of cells start to vibrate at a frequency that does not align with the original intention of the frequency that it was supposed to be vibrating at. So say you get a cancer cell in your liver. Liver cells vibrate at a very specific frequency. When they get out of alignment and they start vibrating at a different frequency to everything else, if that frequency becomes a dominant frequency, they start to entrain other cells with them to become cancerous cells. And it is the same with what you wish to create. When you start aligning and vibrating and tuning in to the same frequency of abundance, of prosperity, of health, of love, of peace, you will start to entrain and attract the experiences that are in alignment with that frequency. This is how this works. And as soon as you start to shift your focus and intention in a significant way, it's not that you focus on money, wealth, and abundance for 5 seconds and all of a sudden, oh, poof, all the money in the world arrives. It is training yourself to focus on abundance, see abundance, experience abundance in your life now, and you then tune into that frequency of abundance more and more and more and more. And more abundance is entrained and attracted to you. And you will naturally take the right actions of an abundant person. This is also about identity. Think about it. If you identify as an abundant person, you will think, behave, and act in the way that an abundant person acts. If you think, behave, and act in the way that an abundant person acts, is it not reasonable to think that you will naturally create more abundance? Of course it is. So you shift your identity, your results naturally shift toward toward what identity you have adopted. If you identify as somebody who is poor, who has no money, who has no agency over their life, who attracts poor partners, or not just poor partners, but crappy partners, partners who don't respect you. And if you don't respect yourself, then you can't attract somebody who respects you, or you might attract them initially, but they will quickly leave your life. So once you understand this and you start focusing on entraining your vibration and tuning into the abundance that already exists, the abundance already exists, man. You don't have to create it. You just have to freaking tune into it. And you have to become, let's get rid of have to. You decide to become the person you need to be who naturally attracts more and more abundance. This is a journey. It's a journey. Okay. So you decide right now, and the decisions that you make continuously back up that decision. And once you are in the dominant realm where your subconscious mind and your conscious mind are tuned in and aligned with abundance, abundance just becomes a natural part of your existence. It's a part of who you are. You cannot not experience abundance when you are an abundant being and you identify as an abundant being. Because abundance isn't about what you have, it's about who you are. From a fundamental standpoint, it's your identity. So let's do a little bit of tapping in order to shift your energy, frequency, and vibration, in order to shift your identity. Because once you shift your identity, you naturally start to vibrate at a different frequency. It's law. It can't not be that way. So start by tapping on the side of the hand and repeat after me. Even though I've been vibrating at a low frequency in relation to abundance, I deeply and completely love and accept all of me right now. Even though there's a part of me that has been rejecting abundance, I deeply and completely love and accept all of me right now. Even though I haven't been experiencing the level of abundance I want in my life, I choose to be ready to leave the old version of me behind and become the person I need to be to experience limitless abundance in my life. And I deeply and completely love and accept all of me right now. Okay, tapping through the points, starting with the inside of the eye. I've been rejecting abundance. I've been vibrating at a frequency that has stopped me from experiencing abundance. I've been buying into a paradigm that is not abundant. I've bought into the lie of lack and scarcity. I've been reinforcing my identity of lack and scarcity. And I choose to forgive myself for that. Just because I didn't know any better. I choose to be okay with where I'm at right now. I choose to release all resistance to who I am and who I have been in my past. And I choose to be ready to release my past and release my old identity that isn't serving me. I destroy, uncreate, and delete my old identity that aligns with lack and scarcity. I destroy, uncreate, and delete my old identity that has rejected abundance. I destroy, uncreate, and delete my old identity that has reinforced lack and scarcity. I destroy, uncreate, and delete my old identity that bought into the lie of lack and scarcity. I destroy, uncreate, and delete the old identity that has been aligned with lack and scarcity. I choose to become the person I need to be to experience limitless abundance. I choose to transform my identity and become the person I need to be to live an abundant life. I choose to transform my identity and become the person I need to be to experience limitless abundance and infinite possibilities. I choose to become the person I need to be to experience wealth, abundance, freedom, prosperity, and to live a limitlessly abundant life. I choose to let go of my old identity, the one that no longer serves me, and adopt a new identity that vibrates at a new frequency, that aligns with abundance, who remembers who I truly am. I choose to recognize the truth of the infinite abundance available to me. I choose to recognize the truth that I am a limitlessly abundant being. I choose to recognize and become the person who is living an abundant life, who is making decisions from a place of abundance, who chooses abundance every single day. That is who I am, because that is who I choose to be. And I back it up every single day by deliberately making choices and decisions that reinforce my new abundant identity. Okay, take a breath, keep tapping. Because as you keep tapping, it's going to keep reinforcing and shifting as a result of your intention. Now, back in the beginning of this broadcast, I said about establishing well accepted truths. Now, in relation to this planet that we live on and this existence that we have and experience, I want you to think about all the places that you see abundance. When you go to a park filled with trees, is there an abundance of leaves? Is there an abundance of grass? Is there an abundance of oxygen and air available to you? Is there an abundance of sunshine? As long as it's a sunny day, of course. When you go to the ocean or a beach, a sandy beach, is there an abundance of grains of sand? Is there an abundance of water? Is there an abundance of creatures in the ocean? Is there an abundance of insects throughout nature? Is there an abundance of life in nature? Is there an abundance of light? Is there an abundance of energy? If you go into a major city, is there an abundance of infrastructure, of shops, retailers, services? Do you see how when you look for evidence of abundance, it is everywhere? Now let's focus purely on money. When you think about money, do you think of money as limitless? Is money limitless in your mind? Is money limitless? Okay, let's unpack that. So the vast majority of people would go, no, of course money's not limitless. It's a finite resource. Okay, let's look at that and put it under the microscope. Money is a resource that is constantly changing hands. It is in circulation. So whilst the money supply might have a certain limit, even that's debatable, because in the state of fiat currency that we're in, governments just keep printing more money, which causes inflation, which is not a good thing. But money is just numbers on a screen. It seems to be created out of thin air. But even if you put that aside, even if you say there is a limit on the money supply, the fact that money is constantly circulating, changing hands in exchange for goods and services, it's going from one person to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. Money can literally change hands many, many, many times in one day. It can even do that in 1 hour. Now, if you think of it from the perspective that money is constantly in circulation, then there's a limitless supply. There is a limitless amount of money that could circulate through your orbit. Because when you bring money in, you're not just going to hold on to it. You're going to pay your bills with it. You're going to buy stuff with it. You're going to maybe go on a holiday with it. You're going to pay the grocer or the massage therapist or the piano teacher or your counselor. That money is going to circulate, which means if you bring $10 in, $10 goes out. If you bring $1,000 in, then $1,000 could go out. Or you could invest it, which is also a wise thing to do. Take a percentage of whatever comes in and then invest it, but it's going somewhere. Hopefully, you're investing in appreciating assets and things that will help to build your financial wealth portfolio in future and making wise money decisions. But a large portion of that money is going to recirculate. It's going to go back out into the circulation pool and then come back and go back out into the circulation pool. If you bring in $10,000, a large percentage of that is going to go back out into the circulation pool. And then $100,000, $1 million, $10 million, $1 billion. Just come in and sit there. It's not static. It's constantly circulating. So there is a limitless amount of circulating money, always. There's never any end to it. So now that you understand that there is limitless abundance of money out there, it's up to you to offer value to the marketplace that helps to bring that money in so you can circulate it back out. Now, I'm going to ask you another question before we wrap this up today. Actually, before I ask you this question, I just want you to, if you would like to work with me, then you can go to consciouswealthcoach.com. I will put the link in the description below, and you can look at the various options to be able to work with me. You can apply to work with me as within one of my programs or one-on-one. So you can go and check that out. And now, and the other thing is that I'm holding another wealth breakthrough coaching series in a couple of weeks. The link to that is also in the description below, and you can join that for free. And I will be coaching people on that call live. You could be one of those. So go and register for that. And if you want to work with me, the link is down below. So let's get back to this question. And it's actually a phrase that I want you to finish. And I don't want you to think about it too long. I just want you to finish the sentence, because this will reveal to you what you think about money and what you need to work on to release your blocks to become limitlessly abundant. When I was growing up, money was. When I was growing up, money was. Ask it again. When I was growing up, money was. Now that you've actually identified that, and 90% of people will come up with something negative immediately. And I want you to ask that question until you come up with some sort of limiting belief or fear or decision that you made about money back when you were growing up. Remember, everything is perception. Everything is a story. Everything. And we see this all the time. We see the way other people think about certain topics, and we're like, how did you come to that conclusion? It's because you have a certain perception based on your experience, based on what you're exposed to, based on the information that you have, that is actually almost never the entire story. We don't have access to all the information available on any given topic. So it's important to be open to new information and be discerning about how you apply that information in your life. So you have one perception about something, and then somebody else who has a different experience, who has been exposed to different information and been influenced by different sources, has a completely different perspective. And you're standing there going, how on earth did you come to that conclusion? But if you actually tracked back what they've been exposed to, the information that they have available to them, what they've been told, what influences they've had in their life, what they've experienced along the way. And the vast majority of people will scoff at you if you say there's a limitless amount of money in the world. There's a limitless amount of money available in the world. They'd be like, you're crazy, because my wallet's freaking empty. My bank account is almost zero. What do you mean? And that experience becomes their truth. So what you need to do is you almost need to be delusional in the way you see life and reality. You need to view it from the perspective of possibility and opportunity, rather than, well, this is my reality, so this is truth. Because truth can be often subjective, not always, but it is from your lived experience that you will form your opinions. And the vast majority of people have decided either abundance doesn't exist, or they're not worthy of abundance, or they're not capable of creating abundance, or they will never experience abundance, or that money is limited and scarce, because of their specific experience. And then what happens is, once you've made a decision subconsciously, then your reticular activating system actually only allows in the information that reinforces that decision, unless you deliberately change that. This is why your attention and intention, your focus, is really important to be able to transform your future life and your future reality. So you've got a lot to work on, and that's good. Embrace the possibilities, embrace the learning, embrace the becoming. Choose and decide to become the limitlessly abundant version of you. Look for evidence to prove that you are becoming, and that you live in an abundant universe, and that you are an abundant being. You are an abundant being. You were born an abundant being. You've just been conditioned out of believing that you're an abundant being and that you deserve abundance and that you can have abundance in all things. And one more thing that I want to leave you with before we wrap this up today is that there's a lot of information out there that demonizes money and demonizes the money system. And I've actually been guilty of that as well. But I've recently realized that it's not the money system that's the problem, because the monetary system is being used by the elites to become wealthier and wealthier and wealthier and wealthier every single day. The problem is that you were not given the right set of rules and the right ways to be able to use the current monetary system to be able to become wealthy. You were just not exposed to that information. But guess what? All that information is now available to you. There's no secret. It's not hiding anywhere. It's all available. It's up to you to go find it, to expose yourself to it, to learn about how the monetary system works. Because, yeah, the monetary system is corrupt. But you don't have to be corrupt to benefit from our monetary system. It is a value exchange system. The more value you supply out in the marketplace, and you're open to receive it, then the more you will be able to circulate that money, and you become a good money steward. You make good money decisions, And that's all just a case of learning and becoming better and becoming more familiar with money, knowing how it works, deciding, making better choices and decisions with the money that comes in. And in actual fact, I know that I'm over time already. I always do this, but I'm going to do one more tapping on being open to receive. Okay. So start by tapping on the inside of the eye and repeat after me. I choose to become the person I need to be, who is open to receive an abundance of money. I choose to transform my identity and become the person I need to be, who is open to receive money in abundance. I choose to embody and embrace the person I need to be, who is open to receive money in abundance. I choose to transform my identity and become the person I need to be, who is open to receive money in abundance. I choose to transform my identity and become the person I need to be, who knows I am worthy and deserving of receiving money in abundance. I am becoming the person I need to be, who is open to receiving money in abundance. Okay, deep breath. Let it out. I think that's a good place to leave it. And make decisions and choices every single day that reinforce the abundant version of you. Shift your identity out of lack and poverty consciousness into wealth, abundance, and prosperity consciousness. Do it deliberately every single day. Stay curious, stay amazing, and do whatever you need to create that flow of more abundance of money coming through you to be circulated back out again in a way that actually makes the world a much better place, because I know that you want to. So I look forward to seeing you on my next tapping. Hopefully, I'm going to see you on the Wealth Breakthrough Coaching Experience, link in the description, remember, and I'll see you again shortly for another tapping session. Ciao for now.